Hi you guys, welcome back. I'm making bread and I'm going to do it a little quicker way. I don't know, all of you that are doing the sourdough starters and stuff, I did a video this morning. This starter's been with me for a while. So I'm going to do a quicker version of sourdough bread. I'm just going to add this starter to a regular bread recipe. So I do have some yeast here that's trying to get happy. It needs a pinch of sugar or some honey, but I'm just going to give it a little pinch of sugar, and once that starts to get frothy, we're going to bring that up. I keep my yeast in the freezer. I've only had one experience in my lifetime when I was trying to impress somebody that I knew how to make bread, that it didn't work. I mean, we had pretty much flatbread because the yeast was no longer a viable product. But I don't know. It could have been, back then I was so young, and you know, you watch your grandma do it and she says, oh, you're going to need some warm water. Well, warm to me, you got to explain what warm is to you and what warm is to me. And so anyway, that being said, we're going to wait for this yeast to kind of get happy over here in this warm water. And I just gauge it by, it's comfortable for me to put my finger in. It's not like bath water, but not hot bath water, so be careful with that. Alright, so this starter has sat here all day from 7 o'clock this morning until tonight. And I'm going to use bread flour tonight. The next sourdough recipe I'm going to do for you, when I have the time to spend, is going to be a cracked wheat sourdough. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's so good. But we're going to get busy here. So it's like 7 o'clock at night here. And I want to have this for, well, probably not tonight's dinner, obviously, but I want to have it for tomorrow. So that's why I am. Now I've got bread flour, but I'm still going to use my dough enhancer, and I'm still going to use buttermilk powder because I love it. It gives a little extra tang to the recipe, and it's so simple. Bread is just one of those basic, simple things that you do that's delicious, and everyone loves it. And we're going to need some olive oil too. So I'm going to put my flour in that I'm starting with. I'm going to start with about, I don't know, about a cup. And then I'm going to measure out some of the starter that sat here all day, and just, it's like thin, oh, it's like crepe batter, actually, perfect crepe batter. And I'm going to take 2 cups of that starter. And the rest of it is going to go back and be the mama. That would be your mother. So it's going to go back in a jar in the refrigerator. Actually, I may go ahead and feed it. Well, let's see. It's Wednesday now. I might feed it again, bring it out and feed it so I can do a long version of sourdough on, well, yeah, Friday. Friday I could actually manage that, but then we're going to have all this bread. So maybe Sunday. Okay, so I got 2 cups of my starter. I'm just going to pour that on in there. And my dog wonders who I'm talking to, huh, Paige? I'm not talking to you, baby. She gets very worried about this whole thing. This makes a really good recipe. It's got, you know, it's got a light and fluffy kind of thing going on, but it's still really delicious. So now I'm going to put a heaping, probably closer to 2 tablespoons. We'll just even it off and make it 2 tablespoons of buttermilk powder. Okay. And I want a tablespoon of dough enhancer, just level. I probably don't need it because I have the bread flour, which already has everything it needs in there. But and a good healthy pinch of salt. And I've got frothy, kind of foamy yeast going on here, so I'm going to add that into the mix, as well as a good 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And I think, because I want a little added flavor, I'm going to add a little garlic infused olive oil, just a tablespoon maybe. There you go. And we're going to let the mixer take over for a minute and just slowly mix that in together and incorporate all that and make it delicious. Okay, so before I move on, I'm going to add another goal to my things for 2012. I have bought, I don't know how many lights were in here, and I try to save energy. I think it's only right, but they're still horrible at night. And so I'm probably going to buy some incandescent or something that will give me equal lighting. I tried the lights that were recommended to me by Noreen, and they didn't work. This is still what I have, so I don't like that amber hue, and I try to fix it. Okay, so going back to the bread, this is the rest of my starter that was left, and I'm going to put this back in the refrigerator. I'll probably bring it out Saturday morning and go ahead and get it all happy and feed it again, and then Saturday night I can actually start the slow process of sourdough. So you'll find that over time your sourdough starter might get larger than you had planned, and you come to a point where you go, okay, I'm going to give some away. Anyway, so I mixed this up pretty good, and now I'm going to add some more of the flour. You don't want to add it too fast or furious, or you'll have it all over the kitchen. I've had things all over the kitchen before. It's really not that much fun to clean up. But that being said, we're going to get with this whole program. And ooh, smells like sourdough. And I just add my flour till I don't really measure bread. It pretty much tells me what it needs. And it's going to need it, so no pun intended, whatever it needs. Okay, so I'm going to keep incorporating the flour in here until I get a dough that is workable, that can be kneaded for about 7 minutes. With a mixer, it's about 7 minutes. With a person on a countertop, it's about 10 to 12 minutes in the mixer. This has been a kind of a difficult transition for me, because normally I would do this by feel. I've always kneaded my own bread. But apparently with these, you do it until it'll hold it onto the dough hook and keep it off the bottom, which it was doing. It might be a little bit, I'm hoping this is good. It's been, ooh, it smells like sourdough. Gotta love it. It just gives such a great flavor. And in the bottom of this bowl, a couple tablespoons of olive oil, and I'm gonna let it rise in here. And oh my gosh, yeah, I probably left it in here a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I'm okay with that. It's you know what, if it looks like when I punch this down that this is too soft a dough, we'll do something else with it. I am not above being creative. And so anyway, yeah, it's a little softer, I think, than my normal bread dough, so I might end up making rolls or something like that with it, or putting it back in the mixer, but we're going to play with this. It's been a real learning curve with the mixer. You know, when you're so used to having everything hands-on, and then all of a sudden that's taken away from you and your recipe is no longer the same, it's kind of odd. But we're going to let this rise until it's doubled in size. I have to tell you, that dough was not, it was too watery, or it was too moist. So I went ahead and added another cup, and I actually didn't do it in the blender. I did it with my hand. I just put about a cup of flour on there and worked it through. And now I'm gonna, actually what I'm doing now is taking all the air out of it. And I can smell that sourdough. Oh my gosh. You know, really and truly, and I want to make the long version too without adding yeast and all that, because it's already got the yeast from the air. It's got all the good things that happen to get it here. And I'm just going to, you know, work it down a little bit. So I've got plenty for a giant loaf, or I've got plenty for 2 loaves. And oh man, I can't get over how good it smells. It smells like that sourdough smell when you open a loaf of sourdough. So I'm going to figure out where I'm going to put these loaves. At first I kind of thought that I was cheating myself out of some. I didn't really feel like I had enough, but now now I know I do have plenty. That's for 2 loaves. So I'm going to figure out where I'm going to put them. Okay, I'm back, and I actually have half of that bread dough is in a olive oil slathered pan, and I have my, oh my gosh, couldn't resist this, and I heated it up so it's kind of warm, and I'm waiting to put the dough in there. But this is my Lodge, oh I guess it goes that way. My Lodge, it doesn't have to be a name brand. I just was excited to see that they had a cast iron bread pan. So that's my cast iron bread pan. We're going to do the other half, which is a little bit smaller. And there, as soon as this cools down enough, it's okay to hold on to until there. And then, yeah, it's cold. So I keep moving it around the granite, and I'm just going to wait until I get that. I'm going to put this other piece of dough in there, and we're going to go and let it rise one more time. In fact, I'm just going to do it. You know what? What do I have to lose? Oh, that sourdough smell is amazing. So I'm putting it down in here. And I do have olive oil down in both pans. I'm going to go ahead and maybe give them a little drizzle down the middle. And we'll make sure that gets spread out, because we don't want, olive oil's healthy. We don't want our bread, the top of our bread, to dry out. So now we're going to let that rise again. It still smells very sourdough-like. And alright, you guys, the end result. I let this kind of hang out all night. Our house stays really pretty cool, so I didn't get the rise that I probably would have during the day. But I'm going to try my sourdough. It's cooled enough. It's hard to wait. I can smell it. It just smells wonderful. So, ooh, hot, steamy bread. Okay. Let's get a knife, and can't have fresh bread, I don't think, with margarine. I think butter's the only way, and we do it in small amounts. So, here's my breakfast. Yum. That's got a really good texture. That background of the sourdough tang. Delicious. Wow. That is really, really good. As usual, most of the time though, it does rise up better than that. So, just thought I'd share my sourdough, and it came out wonderful. I hope you stay tuned for my next videos, and I hope this inspires you guys. It's not that hard to make your own bread. This costs pennies. I'm literally, I think it cost me maybe 20 cents, 30 cents for 2 loaves of bread. You cannot go to the store and buy it for that. So, and it's very rewarding to feed your family something wholesome and nutritious that you actually made. All right, you guys. God bless.